hard to pretend that sexual harassment is just an issue of Hollywood or an issue of the media. Just over this past year, there have been some very disturbing cases of sexual harassment and abuse at several institutions of higher education, including here at USC. So this is a hugely relevant topic, not only across the country, but right here at our home institution.
Ironically, Anita Hill was one of the first stories I covered as a journalist, and I was promptly sexually harassed on the job thereafter. And so then when I got into the workplace, and that was my first job in Virginia, I remember calling my mom and saying a lot of things about, like, women aren't paid the same, and by the way, this Anita Hill thing, you know, what's going on? And then, as I said, promptly thereafter, I was sexually harassed on the job. And it was like my world was just colliding together with this international story, and then thinking, well, that will never happen to me, and then promptly happened. The reason that I think that this tsunami isn't going away this time is because I've been asked to come and speak at conferences where businesses want to do that introspection. That will be the final tipping point in this tidal wave that we're experiencing. It'll be when corporations and institutions finally decide to really make it comfortable for people to come forward and not penalize them. When men within corporations, and some women, finally also decide to stop being bystanders and enablers and become allies. We need to examine whether or not HR is the right place for employees to be able to go and report this, because you have to remember that there may be an inherent conflict of interest with regard to who's signing the paychecks. And I heard a lot of stories about the fact that you know, people in HR were actually former assistants of the bosses who were actually conducting the sexual harassment. So that's definitely a conflict of interest. And then also a woman reached out to me and told me that the person in HR that she was dealing with about her complaint was having an affair with her harasser. For some reason in our culture, we protect harassers. And what I found out from my research after my story broke was that it's not just the high-level employee who's the moneymaker. Those are the stories we've heard a lot about. But I've heard a lot of stories as well that it's the low-level employee who's a harasser who the company also protects. So now women are actually being believed, for the most part. That's unbelievable. Look at what happened to me when I broke my story. Men are, if they are the perpetrator, they're fired. And they don't issue some ridiculous statement, they actually apologize. That's huge in just 20 months. That's one of the reasons why I don't think we can really turn back time on it. I think that we only continue to move forward with it. One of the biggest questions that I received after my story broke was, okay, well, you know, you had a national platform and you may have had the resources to hire good lawyers, but what about the single mom working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet who's also being harassed, by the way? And you know, that question really troubled me because I didn't necessarily have an answer for that. And so I really wanted to create a start to an answer for that. And that's what the Gretchen Carlson Leadership Initiative is. The best part is that underserved women can come to 3 days of workshops to get help for free. So I'm incredibly proud that my fund was able to create that. But we have a long way to go, and it's my hope that those Every Women's stories will continue to come out.